These healthy flapjacks are the perfect energy boosting snack. They're healthy, fruity, and so simple to make. So grab your loved ones and let's get cooking. Hello memory makers, and welcome back to our kitchen. And if you're new here, welcome to Meals Make Memories, where I share with you the recipes from my kitchen to help you make memories that matter in yours. And today we only need a few ingredients, so we've got some oats, some desiccated coconut, some butter, sultanas, raisins and lemon, and finally some honey. But all ingredients and measurements can be found in the description box. Now, if you don't know how to line your baking tray, please keep watching. If you do, please fast forward. So roll out your baking paper. You're going to need excess, and then all you need to do is turn your small baking tray upside down. Grab yourself a pencil or a pen, trace the outside, and then you're simply going to cut this out. Now, in some recipes, you would be called to still grease the baking paper. However, in this recipe, it won't be necessary. Now that that's done, we can move on to the main event. So all we are doing is adding all of our ingredients to the same bowl. Now, I found this recipe on a fabulous vegetarian vegan food blog called thesneakyveg.com, and they called for lemon zest and lemon juice, but I'm just being lazy, so I've just chucked the whole lemon in. What I would suggest though is that if you're going to do that, just slice your lemons a bit thinner so that when it comes to blending all of the ingredients, it's not going to get stuck. Now, I don't have a blender or a food processor, but I do have a smoothie maker. And if you're in the same position as me, you can use any utensil that has a blade to whip this up. It might take a little bit more time, but it is possible. So whatever appliance you're using, you just want to transfer all of your ingredients into the appliance. Now, with the smoothie maker, this was a little bit tricky. As you can see, I'm about to make a lot of mess. But it's all part of the fun and it can just be cleaned away, so I wouldn't worry about that. That being said, if you are a smart individual, then I would suggest getting yourself a bowl to go underneath any transferring that you have to do, just so everything can get collected in the bottom of that in the worst case scenario. Now, if you are using a smoothie maker or something similar, I would suggest not filling everything right to the top, because your ingredients can blend better when there's a bit more space and there's room to shake the ingredients around. Now, traditional flapjacks taste great because they contain oodles of butter and golden syrup to help everything stick together, but that's what makes them so fattening. Now, in this recipe, we're reducing the butter and we're only using natural sugars, such as honey. This is why we need the ingredients to be slightly blended and crumbly, because this will allow the butter and the little amount of honey that we use to stick everything together really well. And that way we don't compromise too much on texture or taste. Now, if your pulverized mixture is sticking together already, this is a really good indicator that when it's added to the butter and honey, it should stick really well. Before you pour out your pulverized mixture, just check for large clumps of raisins or anything like that and make sure it's really fine. Now, even though it may look like sawdust coming out of that container, I can assure you at the end it will not taste like sawdust. So you just need to melt your butter, I put mine in the microwave for a few seconds and allowed that to melt. And then we're just going to add 1 teaspoon of honey. Now, if you're planning to give this to a baby, then omit honey because it can actually be harmful for a child under 1 year old. But for everybody else, add away. Stir that as well as you can. And then simply pour the melted butter into the oats. As you start to mix, you should be able to smell all of the different flavors at this point. The zesty lemon should be coming through, and you could even taste it to see if the sweetness is to your preference. As you mix, you'll see that the mixture starts to clump together and becomes more crumbly rather than dusty. This is good because it means that things are sticking together, and this is what we want for a chewy flapjack rather than something crunchy and dry like a granola bar. If you're concerned that your mixture is still a little bit dry, once everything is poured into the baking tray, you'll see that this can soon be easily remedied. The next thing we need to do, once everything is evenly dispersed across the bottom of the tray, is to just smooth and flatten everything out. And this will help all of the ingredients to bind together. And to help with this, we're going to use a bit of cling film and a glass. Now, by all means, you can use a rolling pin if that's easier for you, but using the cling film stops any ingredients from actually sticking to your utensil and keeps everything inside the pan. Now, if you don't have cling film but you have foil paper, I'm pretty sure that if you put the shiny side downwards and use the glass on the other side, it should work just as well. Now, when you're done, you should have something that looks a bit like this. Now, if you want to smooth things out further, I would suggest using the back of a spoon, just because it doesn't stick to anything and it allows bumps to be easily smoothed out. And there you go. So all we need now is 15 minutes in the oven at 180 degrees, and what you will end up with is hopefully something like this. Now you can get a sharp knife and lightly mark where you want to cut your blocks. I have on several occasions ended up with many wonky lines or mismatched flapjacks. To be honest, they were all eaten the same, so it doesn't really matter, but for presentation's sake, you can mark those out and carve them into blocks. Now, because the flapjacks will still be hot at this point, I would recommend allowing them to cool before you take a bite. And there you have it, a healthy flapjack snack that will keep you energized throughout the day, and it's still nice and chewy. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and for more printable recipes, check out my food blog at mealsmakememories.com. Let me know in the comments how yours worked out. See you for the next one. Thanks for watching.